everybody. Today we have the absolute pleasure of talking to one of my best friends, Marieli Martinez. Marieli, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so thrilled to be able to share my journey with all your audience. So thank you so much.
Okay, people need to know that you and I have a history,
We do.
right? You and I have been in the online marketing world, and now we have both joined the automotive world. You have joined as a car sales consultant. I'm here on the social media side, so we have like a lot to like share and talk about. But why don't you introduce yourself a little bit to everybody? Tell them how long have you been in car sales, and where do you work and what you do?
Thank you, Ina. Well, I am a marketing and communications consultant. I've been in the coaching business for many, many years. I'm a businesswoman. I had my own business for 15 years. Now, in December, I moved from Puerto Rico to Florida, which brought a lot of change into my life. And after a couple of months being here and deciding whether I wanted to start again from scratch, my own business, because even though it was an online business, I really want to have like this a sense of community, a sense of belonging, meeting new people where I live. So I decided to get a job, and I live in a very rural area. So it's not like we have a lot of high paying jobs around. But, something stood out to me, which was the car sales opportunities. Those were the ones announcing like the biggest salaries and, commissions and all of that. And I was like, I should give this a try. So in March, I joined a Toyota dealership, and it's been 7 months now. And I'm super excited. I've learned so much, and I would love it to share it with your audience.
Okay, we need to talk a little bit about when you first started in car sales.
Mhm.
Because I'm really curious to know, what do you think was like the most challenging part about it that you feel like you had to overcome in order to really catch your stride in car sales?
Well, I think I'm an older woman. I don't think of myself as old, but
You're not old, you're my
I know.
age. I just need to say you're not old, you're my age. So you can't be old. Sorry, proceed.
I'm gonna be very transparent. I'm 49, about to turn 50, and it was a lot of new information. Like learning about all these vehicles and trim levels and packages and warranties and the full process. It was a lot to take in. As someone who has been doing a lot of different things in the past, so I felt a little bit insecure because I was still learning everything. And I was afraid of, getting in front of a customer, because one of the things we learned in training was that Toyota customers are the ones that do the research, know their vehicles very well. So you have to be prepared, right? So again, I was very intimidated by, facing a customer and maybe not having the answers to all their questions. In addition to, even though I do speak English, I kind of feel a little bit intimidated by, trying to sell or, trying to start a conversation in English with someone talking about vehicles. So that added like an extra layer of challenge in the very beginning.
Did you have any mentors or people helping you through it? Like how did you start to become more comfortable?
Well, all the time. That is one of the things I'm really thankful for, because first I had a 2 week training, right? They taught us, how to do the walkarounds, the silent walk around for the trade appraisals, how to meet and greet customers, how to present numbers. So we did had a lot of role play and a lot of practice. We did had a lot of training on vehicle, but when we started, it was not like I would meet someone and you take care of it. No, I would, like meet and greet them, or maybe I attracted someone through social media that I know we're going to speak a lot about that later. But what I would do was introduce them to my manager, and he would take care of most of the process, and I would shadow them. So in the very beginning, I was just sitting behind my manager and watching how he would handle things. As you know, I started getting more people, then I would sit in the front and I would take care of a couple of the steps I felt comfortable with, until, probably after I sold like my first 10 or 12 vehicles. Then one day I was like, where were you? Like, I needed you. And he was like, no, you didn't. You did it all by yourself. You're ready. And, little by little, he had me, because when we had Spanish speakers, I felt very confident. I was like, okay, I can relate to them, build enough rapport that even if I don't know everything, they would be very understanding, because, like, we come from the same background, we understand each other. And that helped me a lot, because when Spanish speakers, my manager maybe didn't feel that confident because he doesn't speak any Spanish, right?
Mhm.
So it was, but he mentored me all the time. And we also have a great team of team leaders. So even if my manager was not available, I could rely on any of the other team leaders, and they would help me. And, they have like a great system of mentoring and being there for you when you need them.
Do you recall a particular lesson that you learned from those mentors and from those team leaders that kind of stuck with you?
Mm, Many things. One of the things was about the ether, right? They say that when you're with a customer, and I can feel it now. I can see it. When they come to you and you start working with them, you start creating like this bubble, right? And you don't never want to break that bubble at all, because then like the magic kinds of disappears. So anyways, so one of the things, because sometimes i'm I'm very relaxed, and sometimes like, oh, but I don't have my trading here. I'm like, okay. And they would tell me, like, customers would tell me like, but I live like 4 minutes from here, I can go and take it. And I would be like, oh, okay. And my managers were like, no, you don't do that. We take care of that later. If we have to pick it up later, we'll do that, because we don't want to break the ether that it's being formed as we start this process. So one of the things, I mentioned the ether, but it's about following the process. I think that's the main lesson. Follow the process, because it's a proven, it's being there forever. It doesn't mean like everybody's gonna purchase, but it will provide like the perfect experience to the customer. Okay, so even if they don't buy, they will leave feeling like, okay, that was a great experience, and maybe they'll come back the next day or next week or something and look for you. So
I love that. And I also remember in the beginning when you started, the shock that came with having to make so many phone calls, right? I remember that like being something, we're not used to. In the online world, we kind of like put our stuff out there, and just it's more attraction marketing rather than going and calling people. Can you tell me what the process was like for you to get used to it, and how and was it hard at first? Did you get better at it? Tell us more about that.
well, it was very hard for me in the beginning, even though I've done it in the past. I used to be a headhunter back in the day, many, many years ago, and I would have to cold call a lot of people that were not expecting my call. But it's very different when you're offering them to get more money rather than calling someone and say, calling you so to see if you're willing to spend more money, right?
Mhm.
So I was very intimidated again because of the language. Like, what if they ask me something I don't understand? So what I did was I started texting and I started emailing people. I was trying to go around the phone calls. But what happened was these very first months, I was selling very little. So I was very scared I was not going to make it. So I don't know. At some point, I don't even remember how. I've been working a lot with my mind, with my mindset. So at some point I said, Marieli, you have to do it. So I started looking for people with Spanish names, or the Martinez or the Vasquez or the Morales, Colon, whatever, and that made me feel a little bit more comfortable. And I started kind of building relationships with people through the phone. At some point, my manager would bring me some lists with names, and I need you to please contact these people and see if they're ready or they're willing to upgrade those cars. I'm like, okay, now I have to do it because he gave me these lists. So I started calling, and then I found a couple of people. Like most of the people would say, no, 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 I love my car. I want to keep my car until the wheels fall off. That's the typical response you get. But then, and you get used to it a little. So when the first person told me yes, I was like, excuse me, like, did you just say yes? you know? And I kind of started getting some friendly people, really nice people that would agree to see me. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. And the more I did it, the better I became. Like at the very beginning, people would tell me no, and I would be like, okay, then, thank you, bye. But then after I'm like, but would you tell me why not? And then I started digging in a little bit to kind of have more rebuttals and try to see, because sometimes could have been something like, well, because these 3 months are very difficult. And I could say something like, well, what if I can hold on your payments for the next 90 days? So you have ways to go around those first objections. Or when sometimes people would tell me, wrong number, at the very beginning, I was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. But then I started asking, but do you know that person? And it turns out it was their brother or their sister or whatever. And it's like, so you need to dig in. And I kind of grew that confidence by, trusting the process and being consistent with, okay, now I know I need to make like this 20, 40, 50, whatever amount of calls.
Can you give people just like one piece of advice on doing those calls? What is your best tip?
Well, don't try to be perfect. Be human. That is like the most important thing. Like right now, when I'm on these calls, I try to be more relatable, like, hey, like, how are you today? What are you doing? Are you driving? I can hear the signal light in there. So, I even sometimes apologize for calling them at a random time, and sometimes that helps bring the guard down a little so we can talk a little. Sometimes when they say, well, this is I introduce myself and tell them where I am calling from, and they sound like, oh, and I'm like, oh, but please don't sound so disappointed. I start joking with them, and then they laugh, and I can get through. So don't try to sound like a robot. Don't try to read scripts. I hate scripts. So I try to be very human and very make sure I read the notes. Mm-hmm. So I know exactly this person's situation. I mean, from what we have, the information we have. So I can be more, my message can be custom to what they need, So that really helps. Mm-hmm.
You should be a trainer. Like all of this is gold. What do you think is the biggest misconception that saleswomen have as soon as they land the job to sell cars? What's the biggest misconception you can help us dispel right now? Before we hear the answer to that really juicy question from our guest, I wanted to tell you how I found her, how she ended up on this video in this interview. I found her on TikTok, because she had a strong presence, because she was using the right hashtags, because she knew what she was doing. And that is how your customers find you. That is how you establish your authority in the marketplace. That is how car salespeople make their mark and take control of their careers, by being online. And you need to be on TikTok if you're not already. My name is Ina. I'm the AutoSocialGal, and I'm a social media strategist for car salespeople, for car dealerships, and I have helped hundreds of people with their online presence over the past decade. And now, for the first time ever, I have created a Mastering TikTok for Car Sales course that you can have right now and learn everything I know about how to show up on TikTok, attract your right customers, and also make the experience be right for you. It doesn't have to be silly dances. It doesn't have to be complicated scripts or skits. It can be whatever you want it to be. And in this course, I really put everything that I know so that you can have the kind of presence that is gonna make you go from unknown to unforgettable, so that people want to drive 2 hours out of their way to come and buy cars from you. I have you with the list of equipment that you need, with all of the TikTok features I am going to show you exactly around the app. I'm going to show you how to simplify the analytics process. You don't have to know everything right off the bat to be successful. I'm going to show you how to stand out with your unique personality. I'm going to show you the viral examples so that they inspire you and you know exactly what to post, and so much more. And all of this can be yours right now. And I want to give you a very special $15 off code. The price of the course is going to keep changing. I just put this out there, and the price is going to continue to increase. So don't rest thinking that the price is going to stay the same, and grab this code right here for your $15 off, no matter what the price of the course is. Just code this QR code, take a picture of this QR code, or go to autosocialgal.com/TT for TikTok, get it? And use the code YTGals, that stands for YouTube Gals, so that I know you came from this video and you're coming from here. It's all in that QR code. If you go to autosocialgal.com/TT, it already has the code baked into it, and you can go and grab it right now, because I want to see you on TikTok so that I can go and invite you to be on this YouTube channel, elevate your authority, and inspire others. All right, now let's go back to the interview.
I believe that, and I even had it myself, that you would be standing like this in a showroom waiting for people to show up, and you would run to them and you will make a sale. So that's a big misconception. Traffic, like in-person traffic on dealerships, is almost dead right now. Mm-hmm. Traffic is going on in social media. The traffic is going on online. People are visiting Car Gurus and Auto Trader and Carfax, Carvana, all of these websites, and they're wanting to have a lot more information before they step foot on any dealership. So now, and this is something I learned during the interview process, most dealers are wanting or expecting that you drive the traffic, you drive your own traffic, because otherwise, that's the first misconception, that you're going to be standing in the showroom, very beautiful, and people are going to come up to you. And the second one, that you're going to make lots of money just by standing there and just helping out walk-ins and drivings, and that's not the case.
Got it. Okay, since you touched on social media,
mm-hmm.
How important is social media right now for car sales?
Very, 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 very important. I would say vital, actually. Look, my story, when I moved here to Florida, the first thing, and this was one of the kind of the challenges that I had to overcome, is that I knew nobody. I didn't grow up in Florida, so I didn't have any school friends, college friends, anything. I didn't have anything. I have a couple of family members that are not really now in the position to buy a car, okay? So I cannot even rely on them. So I was like, I need to figure out how to make this work. I was very intimidated by calling the database people because these people, have been called many, many times, and I didn't want to be just one more. So I was doing that. But one of the things that helped me break through all these challenges was posting in social media. I created an Instagram account. It doesn't have, I think right now it has like 38 followers
Mhm.
as for now, but I still received messages from people that I didn't know in there. And the other thing I did was started posting used cars on Facebook Marketplace.
Mhm.
And that's one of the things that brought me my first clients. And that was one of the things that made my managers keep me in the job, because I was bringing fresh traffic that of people that would never had stepped foot in that dealership if they had not seen my ads on Facebook Marketplace. So even this week, the Prius that I sold yesterday, it was a Facebook Marketplace lead. This person drove all the way from Orlando just to pick up this specific car. I had people come from Mount Dora, from other places. Again, this is not the dealership that is the closest to them, but if they see a car that they really, really want and like, they would come. So that makes a big difference.
So, what's your best social media hack?
Hmm. Well, I would say for me, Facebook Marketplace has been a game changer, because it kind of meets the people that are looking for the inventory that you have. So for me, it is very important, as for Facebook Marketplace, to make sure I make my own pictures. I don't take the pictures out of the website with the banners all branded, because people don't like that. So instead I take a car, I put it somewhere nice. I make an entire photo shooting. I try to be as specific as I can. And even with the videos that I take of the car, in the very beginning, I would just go around the car, but now I'm going inside the car with the camera, and pointing out a couple of nice features so people get to see a little bit more of the car, and they love it. And I'm very specific, very precise with the descriptions. And when any people reaches out to me, again, I try to become as human, and I try to get them to I try to create a lead immediately. I try to gain their trust, so I can get either a phone number or an email, so I can put them in my system. Because sometimes it happens that, let me tell you a little story with the Prius. This lady, she was speaking to me, and we built a lot of rapport. Her husband was supposed to see the car before her, but her husband was super tired because he couldn't sleep. So he went online, and that created a lead that went through the system. And some of my colleagues was helping with him while I was working with the wife. So we were both working for the same person. At the end of the day, because I had built such great rapport with her, she was like, nope, Marielle is my girl. I'm working with her. And she drove all the way, whatever. And we worked and we made a deal. But I had to tell the other salesperson who invested a little time, like, hey, I've been working with this. And he was nice enough. He was nice enough to tell me, like, it's your customer from Facebook. It's okay. You can have it all for yourself. It's okay. And I'm like, thank you. I'll invite him lunch later. But, you know, so sometimes those little things happen. So you need to make sure that even if it comes through Facebook Marketplace, I give them the same VIP treatment in that chat, um, as if it were a lead that comes from the website. Okay, because you never know who you're talking to. And sometimes when they meet me and they come to the dealership, they say, the reason I came to you is because you went above and beyond. You send me the pictures, you send me the Carfax report, you were and I made them trust that I am official. I'm not just a scammer, asking you for personal information. I try to avoid that until I've built enough rapport.
Oh my goodness. I feel like I could talk to you for another hour just picking your brain on sales. So I have two more questions. And one is just because you have been so awesome with this advice that now I just need to ask you. And the next one is to wrap up. But can you please just tell us your best car sales advice?
Hmm. Let me think. I don't consider myself so much a salesperson, I believe a lot in creating that huge rapport with the person, showing that you care about them. Even, how can I say this? Like, um, I've had customers that I haven't done like a very technical, specific presentation of the product. I don't even focus on the product. It's how they feel. What are they using it for? What will your kids or your partner think about it? I try to like paint a picture and see how the car would fit into their lives rather than, selling you a bunch of features. So I don't focus that much on that and more in building that relationship and learning a lot about them. I see myself more as like a white glove customer service person, you
Mm-hmm.
know, give them the best experience, learn as much as I can about them because that will help me bring them like the best option for them according to their lifestyle, what they want, what they like, etc. So that's what I would say would be my best sales advice. It's not what people think, maybe.
Oh, I love that, Marieli. So, finally, as we wind down, I want you to imagine that I'm putting you up on a stage and the stadium is full of car saleswomen and they're
Mhm.
looking for inspiration, motivation, and the will and the tools and everything to keep going. What is your big message to other women in car sales?
Well, I, I've been thinking about this. I knew you were going to ask me. But first, I think one of the things that helped me overcome many challenges was being okay with learning as I go through the motions. You don't have to be a full expert again on technical stuff. I mean, you do need to learn and know your product. That's important. But it's more about connecting and being okay with not knowing and being transparent enough to let your customer know, like, hey, listen, I'm kind of new. I don't have the exact answer. I don't want to give you a wrong answer. So just let me find out for you. Okay. That's how I sold the Prius yesterday. They asked me a lot of technical questions I didn't know. And I was very open and said, you know what? That is a very specific questions, but I'll make sure you'll get your answer before you walk out of this dealership. So being very open, transparent, and being not afraid of not knowing because it's a lot of information. And the other thing, it's not giving up, easily when things don't look, your way. There is always a way. And I believe because I never saw myself as a salesperson and even less a car saleswoman, and never in a million years. But I believe, I believe this is something that all of us can do. I think we all women have a little woman, car sales woman inside of us that we just need to let her come out and shine. This is, I believe, a great opportunity to gain a lot of confidence on yourself, on your skill, on I cannot even tell you how much I feel I have grown, even though again I've went through a long process of coaching and training and all of that. But I believe, you need to be consistent and committed. There is someone out there you can help. Just keep looking. Just keep looking for that person.
I love it. Thank you so much, Marieli. You are so wonderful. Like I'm not even joking. I could have asked you a million more questions. Can you please share with everybody where to find you and where to go follow you on social?
Well, I am at Daytona Toyota. This is in Daytona Beach, Florida. So if you're in the area and you're looking, to either trade in or upgrade, just find me there. I have an Instagram account. Is Maddie Auto Florida FL. I'm gonna share with you the handle so you can share it with the audience. It's gonna be much easier. And also, you can always find me as Marieli Martinez on Facebook, and you will see all my vehicles in my marketplace store and all of that. I'm always posting about my happy customers and all of that.
Well, I'm going to put all those links below so nobody has to go and search for them. They're all right here. Marieli, I love you so much, my friend. Thank
I love
you
you too.
so much for doing this. You are so wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I hope this has planted a seed of hope and optimism in everybody that sees this interview. Thank you so much.
100%. Thank you, Marieli.